Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2011 NFL season preview. We're taking a look today at the NFC East, so let's just jump right into the video and see which team I have finishing fourth in a division. At number 4, I have the Washington Redskins. The big thing about the Redskins, you have to look at the quarterback position. Is it going to be John Beck or is it going to be Rex Grossman? Both guys play impressive during the preseason, so that's the biggest question for the Redskins offense. Who's going to take the reins at the QB spot? Whoever's going to be back there, quarterback, has the luxury of having some talented running backs in the backfield. Tim Hightower is quite possibly the most underrated signing this offseason. This guy brings a lot of explosiveness and a lot of shiftiness out of the backfield. His only issue was ball security. If he had solved those issues that plagued him down in Arizona, this is going to be a true steal for the Washington Redskins, and we know they're going to have some excellent wideouts to throw the football to. Jabbar Gaffney comes into the fold, and also retain Santana Moss, and they have a young rookie in Leonard Hankerson who's going to be explosive as he gets acclimated to the system as well. The offensive line has done a solid job this preseason. They're protecting up front, they're opening lanes to run the football, and so this offense will look a lot better than it did last season, a lot more clockwork as opposed to what they did the year before because of the continuity in the system. So it all falls on the quarterback to take the next step, and we know Chris Cooley is one of the best tight ends in the league. Defensively, I like what the Redskins bring to the table. They run a 3-4 defense, which means the biggest signing to me in the offseason was getting Barry Cofield from the New York Giants. He's going to play the nose tackle in that 3-4. It's going to help open up holes for those outside rushers, i.e. Ryan Kerrigan, the rookie out of Purdue. This guy is a talented pass rusher. Look for him to have double-digit sacks this season as a rookie. Teaming up with Brian Orakpo, and teams will have problems with the Redskins front seven. London Fletcher returns. This guy should be a future Hall of Famer. All he does is make tackles. And with an improved front seven, look for the secondary to be even better this season. D'Angelo Hall made a Pro Bowl last year, should do the same this year as well. They also bring in O.J. Atagwe from the Rams, team him up with LaRon Landry, and that safeties spot will be outstanding for the Redskins. So overall, the biggest question I have for the Redskins is the QB spot. If they can get consistent play week to week from those quarterbacks, this team may surprise some in the NFL. At number 3, I have the New York Giants. You look at the quarterback spot. Eli Manning is a solid quarterback. He may not be top 5 as he thinks, but he is a solid quarterback. He does win for the Giants. He just has to protect the football, and that's his biggest issue. Protect the football, the Giants can make the playoffs. Now, the rest of the offense, yes, they lost C. Smith. That's going to be a huge loss for the Giants. So that means one of these other wide receivers has to step up and be that third target. Guys like Victor Cruz, Dominic Hickson, Devin Thomas, those guys have to step up and be a reliable third target because those two other receivers are outstanding, and Mario Manningham and Hakeem Nicks. The loss of Kevin Boss will hurt, but can Travis Beckham not only pick it up in blocking, but also as a pass receiver? So those are the questions I have about the Giants passing game, but we know they're going to lean heavily on the run. Ahmad Bradshaw returns, as well as Brandon Jacobs, so that 1-2 combination should help keep opposing defenses at bay and open up things for the play action pass. The offensive line added David Bosch from the San Francisco 49ers. So look for this offense to stay the course. They still need some type of explosiveness and some type of imagination out of Gilbride in order to be successful, but the pieces are in place for these guys to succeed. Pressure, bust, pipes, and the Giants do a great job of getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks with Justin Tuck and also Jason Pierre-Paul. And they're going to get O.C. Umenyiora back after he returns from surgery, so the pass rush is going to be fine. Where I have questions is up the middle. Linville Joseph is probably going to be the starter with Chris Canty. They lost 2 big blows in the offseason. They lose Barry Cofield to the Redskins, and they also lose their draft selection in Marvin Austin. So the defensive line took a beating in the interior, and that's the biggest question I have about that Giants defense. The linebackers provide a very workmanlike group. Keep an eye on Matthias Kiwanuka. He should have a breakout season this year. And I really like Michael Bowler. This guy is an explosive hitter out that weak side linebacker position. The question mark, again, would be in the secondary. They lose Prince Amukamara. They won't get him back for a couple of weeks, but they lose Terrell Thomas for the entire season. So an already questionable group just got a lot thinner. So can Aaron Ross step up and be a consistent player in that secondary? That's going to be huge. They have 2 talented safeties in Antrell Rowe and Kenny Phillips, but I have questions about the depth. I have questions about the speed, and that's what gets the Giants in trouble, is when they play teams that have speedy wide receivers and they can be explosive, because the Giants lack speed as a team. But overall, if the Giants can get out the gates fast, if they can control the clock, and if Eli can protect the football, I know that's a lot of ifs, the Giants can get back into the playoffs. I don't see why they can't compete for the division title. Next up are the Dallas Cowboys. You look at the offense, you have to talk about Tony Romo. This guy, I believe, can make all the plays. He can get Dallas where they need to be. They want to get to the Super Bowl. I think Romo is the guy to get them there. It's just about him being consistent and that offensive line protecting him and keeping him upright, because you have to admit, when he is in the huddle and he's on that field, that Dallas Cowboys offense is a lot better. Now in the backfield, you look at Felix Jones. I'm glad they're going to give him the ball and make him the bell cow, because he is a touchdown waiting to happen. Big playmaker in the backfield. And they also add DeMarco Murray from Oklahoma, another speedster. You team him up with Tashard Choice, and they have a trio of backs that can really run the rock. Now on the flanks, you look at Dez Bryant, the outstanding wide receiver, had a very good rookie year, and look for him to take off this season and make perennial Pro Bowls. Miles Austin is another big play wide receiver. So they're explosive on the flanks, and it's up to Romo to get these guys the football. And they also have the solid, consistent tight end in Jason Witten. Now we talk about all these skilled players, but it all falls on that offensive line. Like we mentioned, they have to make sure they protect up front. They did a great job in the offseason bringing in #1 draft selection Tyron Smith to help out on the right side, Doug Freebooth to the left side. And I want to see how well Phil Costa does in the middle. That's the biggest question. If they can get protection from the center spot, I think the bookends will take care of themselves. So with an improved offensive line, I look for the Cowboys offense to be much more explosive as it was 2 years ago. Defensively, even though they lost Wade Phillips, I think bringing over Rob Ryan was another one of those underrated moves in the offseason, because he ran a 3-4 defense in Cleveland. He has all the pieces here, more so than he had with the Browns. So there's a lot to work with, and they're still going to be an aggressive unit, especially as long as DeMarcus Ware is back there. They will always get to the quarterback. This guy is the premier pass rusher in the NFL. Anthony Spencer did a great job improving last season. Look for him to take the next step. Keep an eye on linebacker Sean Lee. I think this guy is going to be a star for the Cowboys and eventually take over for Keith Brooking in the middle of that 3-4 defense. The biggest question for the Cowboys was the secondary. Can they improve that unit? Mike Jenkins got beat a little bit last year, but this guy, I like the way he plays. He's a solid corner in my opinion. Orlando Scandrick has had an outstanding preseason, so you look for the Cowboys to improve that secondary. That's going to be one thing to watch on this defense. I think they will improve and play better than they did last season. There's nowhere to go but up. Teams attack the Cowboys in the back half of their defense. So I think with the continued pressure of the front seven, the secondary will improve as a byproduct. And look for the Cowboys with a healthy Romo to get back into the playoffs this season. Finishing first, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. What a year Michael Vick had last season. Impressive comeback story. This guy played outstanding, but I look for him to improve even more so this season. And as long as you have those added weapons around him in Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy McInerney, bring over Steve Smith from the Giants. They also add Ronnie Brown in the backfield from the Dolphins and drafted Deion Lewis from Pitt. But LaShawn McCoy is the bell cow in that backfield. This guy is a versatile athlete, can do it on the ground, can do it in the air, and it's his explosiveness out of the backfield that makes this offense potent and scary for opposing defenses. And speaking of providing terror for opposing defenses, you have to talk about the two talented playmakers on the flanks in Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin. Deshaun Jackson is a guy, his statistics may not show up as a Calvin Johnson or Andre Johnson, but you can't deny his impact on the game. This guy is an explosive playmaker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and when he's in the ball game, defenses have to account for him, and that's why he's a potent threat for that Eagles offense. So overall, the Eagles offense will be again explosive, and the adding of Vince Young to back up Michael Vick is a big move, because Michael Vick hasn't shown he can stay healthy for 16 games. So let's say you lose him for a game or two, Vince Young can come in and pick up right where the offense left off. On defense, the Eagles also added a bunch of playmakers. Look at guys like Jason Babin and Cullen Jenkins in the front four. You look in the secondary, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie and Nnamdi Asomugha. So they made out like bandits this offseason, and I think those guys won't need time to gel. They're already solid players, so look for them to come in and make an immediate impact. The secondary is going to be one that opposing offenses won't want to throw against, because Cromartie is a ball hawk. Asante is a ball hawk. Nnamdi Asomugha are guys that teams just completely avoid altogether. And even in the safety spot, they got a guy in Nate Allen, and they drafted a guy in Jaquan Jarrett. So I like what the Eagles have done defensively. They're going to be even more aggressive this season as opposed to last. So with that type of tenacity coming at you, look for these guys to pick off a lot of passes. Look for this defense to get back to its playmaking days to win they were under Jim Johnson. So I like what I see out the Eagles overall. Now, you look at the team as a whole. If they can stay healthy, something they haven't proved they could do throughout the years, if they can stay healthy, the Eagles have a look of a team that can go to the Super Bowl. For more NFL season preview videos, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. And listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.